Alright, Myspace, how you doing? This is Will from Myspace. Today we're joined by a very special guest, someone who brings all the perfect ingredients for a webcast. He's funny, witty, unpredictable, offensive, some may say. But yeah, he's actually just on the point of becoming a literary legend with his book, My Shit Life So Far, which is very funny. You can read extracts of it on his Myspace profile, myspace.com/Frankie Boyle Live, where you should be watching this webcast, and if you're not, why not? But you know the drill. We've got lots of questions over the last 2 weeks, some quite strange questions, and you can still get any question you like to our guest in the chat just below this video. Just include your name with your message so you receive a personal response. So, without further ado, I give you the one and only Frankie Boyle.
Oh. That was fucking slack, Will. By the way, you refer to yourself as Will from Myspace.
Yeah.
As if you just fucking wandered in. I'm a guy.
Hello.
Here it is. Yeah, hello, welcome to everybody who, presumably that subsection of the fucking community who have a computer but have never heard of pornography. They're sat at home at 4:30, watching me answer random questions. And my first question, apparently my question's pop up here, is, do you let dogs lick your face? No, I think you've got to fucking draw the line somewhere, haven't you? With licking the face. Really, the only people I let lick my face are the handicapped. And then, even in those circumstances, I wear a tight leather mask before I let them do it. I figure, if you've got handicapped people in your basement, the least you can do is let them fucking lick your face if they want to. They don't live very long, I have to say, but I'm going to experiment with feeding the next batch, see how it goes. So that was question 1, thanks, messy kid. Question 2, we all have people we work with or dislike, normally bosses, but sometimes brown-nosing co-workers. Are there any fellow comics you can't stand? I always hate that fucking thing about something about comedy where people go, oh, I like you, not like that arsehole, so-and-so. Comedy seems to bring out the negative in people for some reason. There's lots of very good comedy out there. Maria Bamford, I'd particularly recommend. I think you can get like clips on YouTube and stuff like that, but she's absolutely fantastic. Dimitri Martin as well, and there's lots of funny stuff out there. So I'm not going to bother with the haters. Be a celebrator. Next question is from Kate, and it's simply pirates or ninjas. Probably pirates, man. I'm quite into Somalian pirates at the minute. I don't know if you've seen them, but they've taken to wearing these sort of all-in-one sort of boiler suits. I just quite like the idea that toddlers like to dress up as pirates and pirates like to dress up as toddlers. But also, who the fuck is sailing off the coast of Somalia? Anyway, like, anything could be happening there. I wouldn't go. Fucking Led Zeppelin could be doing a reunion concert during a total eclipse. And I would not go near the fucker. Also, wasn't it Somalia that we were bailing out with Comic Relief a couple of years ago, man? And this is what's happened. For £20, you can buy a speedboat and a grappling gun for this one. Probably people are getting letters from people they've sponsored over there, man, going, hey, thank you, here is a picture of me eating the fruitcake you sent while I behead someone, wearing a shit happens t-shirt. Right, ninjas. I assume this is a sort of Halloween question. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it. Ninjas, I don't think dress your kids up as ninjas at Halloween because they can get mixed up very easily, can't they? Dressed as a ninja. You might go out with 3 ninja kids, come back with 3 completely different kids. If I had to hide a child, I would dress them as a ninja. Perhaps Madeleine McCann is currently dressed and been trained as a ninja somewhere. And when finally reunited with her family, they'll be fucking delighted and all that for a bit, and then eventually her training kicks in and she fucking kills them all in a bloodbath, making that whole scenario even more tragic than it was before. I don't really feel I've answered your question, Kate, but I feel I've dug myself quite a deep hole, so I'm moving on.
Another question. We've got quite a lot of people from Scotland
Cool.
on the chat, I think. A lot of people asking, do you go back to Glasgow much?
I live in Glasgow.
Well, what do you like most about Glasgow is quite a common one as well.
Yeah, lots of different things actually. The availability of drugs. I just generally like that Glasgow's a bit like London after a massive viral event. You know, so it's much quieter. And just people are friendlier. There's a lot of fucking weird shit in Glasgow. I mean, I talk a wee bit about it in the book, but there's an insect museum in Queen's Park on the south side of Glasgow that's well worth going to see. It's just some freakish Victorian abomination. And there's also, in general, around Queen's Park, a whole kind of, you know, you can do like a haunted tour in Edinburgh. You can just walk around Queen's Park and meet the actual ghosts of the many people that have been murdered there. Our next question on the board is, any idea who will be replacing you on Mock the Week? I just couldn't give a shit, Mark. I've literally forgotten that I even did it. If you were to do a documentary, what would it be about? I would like to do a documentary about show business, because I've always felt a bit outside of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've never particularly hung out with anyone in show business or gone to any of this sort of the stuff, but I've always quite enjoyed American show business. You know, that whole idea of, you know, the big writers' rooms that write, you know, from Sid Caesar's shows right through to The Simpsons and that, where they'd have 24 people in a room and all that, and those meetings, you know, where people just pitch an idea and suddenly you can turn an idea into, you know, money. The sort of magic of that. Suddenly it's like pow, and then suddenly this thing's got made. You know, I've always liked that, and I'd love to do a documentary about that someday.
What's the glitziest showbiz event you've been to?
Oh, it would be like something fucking terrible. It would be like the Scottish BAFTAs or something. Scotland has BAFTAs.
I did know it had BAFTAs.
Yeah, man. My pal got nominated one year and we went along and he got beaten by the guy that played the dude in the kilt in the Scottish Bloody Jokes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Down.
Blake. Next question is, what advice would you give to anyone starting out in stand-up? From James. Don't fucking start. Right? It's just not worth it. It's not going to fill the hole at the centre of your being. I think that's the thing a lot of comics don't realise, is that if I just shovel more fucking love and approval in here, I'll be a whole person. Just shovel it into the fucking aching void in my chest. No, you won't. What you need to do is go and get some fucking counselling. Okay? They're an audience, they're not your parents. Fucking go and deal with the shit. And then go and try and be creative. Do you know what I mean? Just people use stand-up as basically a replacement for approval and love they can't get in other places, and it's just fucking tragic. But good luck, James. All the best. All the best, buddy. Question 19. I admire the fact that you've given up booze for as long as you have. What did you do, and how? Right, okay, so this dude's so drunk he can barely formulate a fucking sentence. Yeah, I just stopped drinking. I didn't go to AA or anything like that. I just thought the idea of meeting a lot of other committed drinkers is probably not going to fucking help me. And I've never really understood all that. So I think basically stop drinking and be prepared for a lot of boredom, because you don't realise how much time you take up if you're a heavy drinker, how much of your day that is. Like 10 hours of your day is revolved around having a hangover or getting ready to go out or drinking. So yeah, take up like a serious hobby. Do you know what I mean? Go and do like a really brutal martial art, Thai boxing or something like that, man, and then okay, you don't have the same social life, but one day you could just crush someone's head like a fucking beer can. It's got to be worth it. Right, Adam says, do you think people misunderstood Hitler and the idea of a totalitarian state? Adam, you look like a sort of what not to wear project from the sex offenders register. I'd quite like the idea that Hitler was just being ironic. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe like he was a sort of Jimmy Carr figure of his day, and like people just really got behind him, and he just sort of really felt misunderstood.
We've actually got a question from the live chat. Archie asks, do you get upset with the press?
Not really. What about the press?
I'm not sure. It's quite vague. I mean, you're reading a paper on your way in, so you can't be that.
I'm not that upset
with them, yeah.
With my press.
But yeah, about what the papers say about you in general.
I just couldn't give a shit. There's some rumour that I'd died recently, and then there was another one that I'd committed suicide or something. But they're all quite cool rumours, but they're not like, oh, he's rimmed Robbie Williams or something like that. They're always like quite a cool, he's dead or something like that. That's quite cool. I'm quite down with that.
Suicide could be cool, could help shift more of them.
Yeah, I have in fact committed suicide.
It's official.
Apparently, I read this, the best way to commit suicide is paracetamol and spirits, right? Because it's the most effective way. But also, if it doesn't work, no hangover. Next question is, hi Frankie, do you believe in arranged marriages? If so, could you arrange to marry me as soon as possible? I do believe in arranged marriages and in honour killings. I'm pretty much quite into honour killings. I've tried to start a local group, much like a sort of neighbourhood watch thing, where we sort of patrol the morals of local women and kill them. I'm also very much in favour of the full-length burqa, as it allows me to masturbate in Tesco. See, the burqa, I mean, who's not turned on by the burqa? It's like a sexual scratch card. There's nothing sexier in the world than watching a Muslim woman walk into a light wind. They've got the whole thing wrong.
We've got another question from the live chat. Danbo asks, would you host your own chat show?
Danbo?
Danbo. Come on, Danbo.
Sounds like a fucking name that he's awarded himself, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm Daniel, but people call me Danbo.
Danbo.
Yeah, I'd quite like to, not so much a chat show, I can't really imagine like the whole sort of celebrity end of it doing that well with me. I just sort of lapse into horror and fucking hatred. But I wouldn't mind doing a sort of desk, sort of daily type show type thing, but it's hard to imagine in Britain people having enough interest in politics at the minute, and also just the channels letting you do the jokes.
Well, actually we have another question that's related. Ryan asks, if you had your own chat show, who would be your dream guest?
Ian Huntley, obviously. I would get a dog in a bath, and I would ask him to fucking talk us through what happened, man, because it must have been like fucking Mousetrap, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's everyone's dream guest, you know, it's just no one can say it.
She's pretty.
She is pretty, and she says, Amy Janey, but we know in reality a 40-year-old guy in his pants fucking cracking off to this. Hi Frankie, how do you feel about being a bit of a heartthrob? Good, actually, particularly since I've grown the beard, I feel I'm even more attractive, and it's when I become aroused, Amy Janey, it flares up much like a cobra's hood. That's one to watch out for. Yeah, I've never particularly been a heartthrob or got into comedy to try and get attention from women, which I've never ever really got. What I've got is a lot of fucking guys coming up to me at the bar and talking shit about football. Next one. What would you do if Gordon Brown invited you to his birthday party from Marion? And quite a weird fucking... Did she take that photo herself?
I think she'd had a fall.
And the camera's gone off. Like, she's got a really long arm and she's falling. Gordon Brown, I think I would advise to replace, I've got an idea, that he should replace his glass eye with a rare bird's egg. So he could probably make money going to conferences and stuff. He smuggles rare bird's eggs from one country to another, but also just draws a wee circle on the egg to make it lifelike. And in the middle of Prime Minister's question time, occasionally, a fucking peregrine falcon just shoots out of his eye like that. How much? I mean, everybody would then watch that, wouldn't they? Oh, I suppose, on the other hand, someone would have to sit on his face 18 hours a day to incubate.
Mustn't forget, actually, Marion does say after her question, loving the new book, by the way.
Cool. I suspect my publicist had that put in there. And in fact, Marion might even work for them.
It's genuine. There's another question from the live chat. What type of music do you listen to? That question was asked anonymously, I'm not quite sure.
Well, that was quite creepy. I listened to a lot of sort of American, I try to find a word for it, alternative country type stuff. Probably not what it would be called by anybody, but I like Smog, Bonnie Prince Billy, Joanna Newsom, that kind of thing. And I also listen to a lot of rap. Wu-Tang Clan are a particular favourite, even though I secretly know it's fucking deliberately aimed at white people like me who want to fantasise about fucking shooting people. And yeah, I listen to loads and loads of different stuff, and electronic stuff, add into X. Basically, my girlfriend's got quite a good collection of esoteric, weird electronic stuff, so I get exposed to quite a lot of good music despite myself.
Cool. I've got another question, actually. Reagan asks, why do you always slag off Dundee on Mock the Week?
Have you been to Dundee?
I don't think Reagan...
I think it can literally, if you just fucking Google image it, I reckon you could fucking answer that question. Because it's basically like some dystopian sci-fi novel from the 1960s. It's a horror story, but it's quite good in a way as well. I've done some good gigs in Dundee and fucking people are up for a bit of a laugh, but then they'd have to be, wouldn't they?
Good.
Robert, who's taken quite a weird photo of himself, or had it taken, somebody took that. How the hell did you make it developing your humour without being killed? Were you just a normal funny comedian and then dropped the bombshell when you knew you were safe? I sort of understand what you mean there, Robert, even though you've put it quite awkwardly. I sort of started out doing stuff very much like I do now, and it wasn't always well received. So there's definitely a thing. There's definitely things after shows where I thought people are going to come and fight me after the show, and I had a thing. A few times the old mic stands, I don't need to do this anymore, but the old mic stands came apart in the middle, and I just, if I thought it'd been a particularly rough gig, I'd just fucking leave the mic out on the floor at the end, and I'd take the top bit of the mic stand, because it's a fucking weapon, and go back to the dressing room. That happened a few times, because, like, you know, there is, the one that really fucking kicked off was this thing I did years and years ago about, you know, all this, there was some drive at the time for cataract operations for Africa, and you give £2 and it cures cataracts. So I had some fucking slightly misguided thing about, you know, why do we need to cure their cataracts so they can have a better 20/20 vision while they watch their families starve to death? If we were a really humane society, we would be paying aid workers to go around and stab their eyes out with a pencil. So obviously, probably not that well thought through as a fucking argument, really. But yeah, people did go properly mental at that.
Got a good question on the chat. CB asks, I don't know if he's just a radio, what do you think of people's views that comedy should be censored?
It's just bollocks, isn't it? I mean, you believe in freedom of speech or you don't believe in freedom of speech. Do you know what I mean? So I believe in freedom of speech for everyone, even Nick Griffin, even, you know, I think there's a slight edge somewhere of people soliciting murder. I think that's the only edge that there should be legally in freedom of speech. And you know, most people who come out and talk about comedy anyway, fucking laugh or don't laugh. Don't write a fucking article about it. Do you know what I mean? Fuck off. You know, either develop a sense of humour or fucking go and do something else. Most of those people are people who are completely humourless. You just think, you would never make anybody fucking laugh, and you want to sit and fucking write about an article about people who can. You know, just go and find something better suited to your interests.
Another question. We've got quite a lot of people from Scotland
cool.
on the chat, I think. A lot of people asking, do you go back to Glasgow much?
I live in Glasgow.
Well, what do you like most about Glasgow is quite a common one as well.
Yeah, lots of different things actually. The availability of drugs. I just generally like that Glasgow's a bit like London after a massive viral event. You know, so it's much quieter. And just people are friendlier. There's a lot of fucking weird shit in Glasgow. I mean, I talk a wee bit about it in the book, but there's an insect museum in Queen's Park on the south side of Glasgow that's well worth going to see. It's just some freakish Victorian abomination. And there's also, in general, around Queen's Park, a whole kind of, you know, you can do like a haunted tour in Edinburgh. You can just walk around Queen's Park and meet the actual ghosts of the many people that have been murdered there. Our next question on the board is, any idea who will be replacing you on Mock the Week? I just couldn't give a shit, Mark. I've literally forgotten that I even did it. If you were to do a documentary, what would it be about? I would like to do a documentary about show business, because I've always felt a bit outside of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've never particularly hung out with anyone in show business or gone to any of this sort of the stuff, but I've always quite enjoyed American show business. You know, that whole idea of, you know, the big writers' rooms that write, you know, from Sid Caesar's shows right through to The Simpsons and that, where they'd have 24 people in a room and all that, and those meetings, you know, where people just pitch an idea and suddenly you can turn an idea into, you know, money. The sort of magic of that. Suddenly it's like pow, and then suddenly this thing's got made. You know, I've always liked that, and I'd love to do a documentary about that someday.
What's the glitziest showbiz event you've been to?
Oh, it would be like something fucking terrible. It would be like the Scottish BAFTAs or something. Scotland's a BAFTAs.
I did know it.
Yeah, man. My pal got nominated one year, and we went along, and he got beaten by the guy that played the dude in the kilt in the Scottish Play Jokes.
Nice. Yeah. Down.
Blake. Next question is, what advice would you give to anyone starting out in stand-up? From James. Don't fucking start. Right? It's just not worth it. It's not going to fill the hole at the centre of your being. I think that's the thing a lot of comics don't realise, is that if I just shovel more fucking love and approval in here, I'll be a whole person. Just shovel it into the fucking aching void in my chest. No, you won't. What you need to do is go and get some fucking counselling. Okay, they're an audience, they're not your parents. Fucking go and deal with the shit, and then go and try and be creative. Do you know what I mean? Just do. People use stand-up as basically a replacement for approval and love they can't get in other places, and it's just fucking tragic. But good luck. Good luck, James. All the best. All the best, buddy. Question 19. I admire the fact that you've given up booze for as long as you have. What did you do and how? Right, okay, so this dude's so drunk he can barely formulate a fucking sentence. Yeah, I just stopped drinking. I didn't go to AA or anything like that. I just thought the idea of meeting a lot of other committed drinkers is probably not going to fucking help me. And I've never really understood all that. So I think basically stop drinking and be prepared for a lot of boredom, because you don't realise how much time you take up if you're a heavy drinker, how much of your day that is. Like 10 hours of your day is revolved around having a hangover or getting ready to go out or drinking. So yeah, take up like a serious hobby. Do you know what I mean? Go and do like a really brutal martial art, Thai boxing or something like that, man, and then okay, you don't have the same social life, but one day you could just crush someone's head like a fucking beer can. It's got to be worth it.
Well, Mike asks further to that, do you think the press exaggerate the offensive, he puts in speech marks, jokes that you say?
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's of the stuff. The real thing for me is, why don't they go and get a fucking DVD? you know what I mean? Because there's like 100 worse things in my day-to-day than I've ever fucking brought up. Like, probably literally every joke. She's sort of like, well, it is all just that thing of, you know, this thing of newspapers support war because war makes better copy than peace. It's like a quote from George Monbiot I read somewhere. And it's just like that. It's like being offended suits some of those papers. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, this terrible thing. And you're like, you know, because it's sort of easy to write a column about it, it's easy to write a piece about it, and you're just like, you know, you're just out of touch with the British people because, to be honest, you know, British people have a really sophisticated sense of humour, much more than Americans or mainland Europe. Very sophisticated at working out if people have any malice in them and stuff like that. And you've got newspapers and bodies telling them that they don't. Oh, you can't understand this, you can't be trusted with this. It's bollocks, and people know it's bollocks.
Well, a lot of people are actually asking it if you've got any plans to take your humour to the States or anywhere else.
Yeah, well, I'd like to. I mean, what I'm talking about, that documentary idea, I'd love to go and do that in the States. So go and do it, but actually do like. So instead of just going and fucking looking at stuff, going and actually try to do the spots. So try and do a spot on Letterman, or try and get a gig where you're writing in a big writer's room for a day, or try to do that. Maybe you totally fail. But I'd be quite, do you know what I mean? You could really go on your arse as well. But I quite like that, because a lot of the times when you watch documentaries, I think there's no jeopardy in this.
No.
Do you know what I mean? There's no sort of, there's no potential for anything great or terrible to happen. And I'd quite like to just go and do something where I sort of put it on the line out there. Oh, that would be good.
Cool. There's another question from Solace Observe. Found name there.
Well,
what's the most socially awkward situation you've ever been in?
Oh, I mean, too many to mention. One of them was my current, my girlfriend. We'd not been together that long, but she was going to a New Year's party, like a husband party, and she said, "Yeah, come along." And I was doing a gig somewhere, and I took 2 ecstasy after the gig. Because some punter just came up and gave them to me. Hello, Frankie. He just palmed me 2 ecstasy. I went, great. I took them. And then I thought, well, I'll go and see my girlfriend at this party. So I goes down there, and it's like fucking 6 or 7 people, all about 60, playing charades. And I was like, could literally feel the top of my head starting to come off, man. And I was just like, fucking yeah. And like, you know, just really trying to keep a lid on it while you're fucking acting out, you know, the Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe and all that. And just, it was fucking desperate. You could really feel it shaking up from your boots, but at the same time just trying not to be a foaming mouth mental case.
Tim asks, on a different note, have you got any advice for Jan Moore? Is that how you pronounce it?
Oh, is that woman that wrote a column about Stephen Gately?
Yeah.
You know,
any advice for her?
Try and find some love in your soul, Jan. Could you try and do that? Do you know what I mean? No one talks about that anymore, do they? It seems like, can you imagine like the last time that a politician said, well, maybe we should try and love our way out of this one. Maybe, you know, maybe we should love the people of Iran. Maybe we should try and, you know, we should try and encourage the Israelis and Palestinians to love each other. You sound fucking mental, wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean? But I think that, you know, she's obviously a bit misguided in her views about gay people and what she said about, you know, civil partnerships and stuff like that. It's just, I mean, the thing is, it's just so out of touch with what everybody feels as well, and I feel very sorry for her if she's built a reality for herself where she thinks that that's acceptable. But yeah, I think she should have a think about it and try and find some love in her heart.
On love, Jake Man actually asks, dude, I'm trying to get with this girl. Hook me up with some advice.
Well, he needs to elaborate. He needs to elaborate quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what specific problem he's facing in trying to hook up with this girl.
I'd say there's a problem of language already.
Yeah.
You know,
so
I'd say he should try aiming for being a bit less like a fucking 90s road comedy.
Like something out of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Do you know the story do you remember Dude Where's My Car?
Yeah.
Right, which was terrible, right? But apparently there was going to be a follow-up to that and it got canned eventually, but it was going to be called seriously did.
Oh, typical. Well, we've got time for just another couple of questions. Firstly, Lauren asks, the answer is Frankie Boyle. What is the question? Yeah.
I'm not doing anything more related to fucking Mock the Week. Never again will I think of a fucking answer that would not be a question, or a funny thing that a pilot might say, or a fucking tour guide. Some other fucker has now got that shit-covered baton.
And we've got time for one more question, and it's a profound one, so brace yourselves. Phil asks, beans on a fry-up, yes or no?
Yes. What's your fucking thing on it? What is the other option? Is there another option?
I don't know.
What?
It's a bit of a dry fry-up.
Yeah, you've got to have beans. Yeah. In fact, I had beans on a fry-up this morning.
Good go. Well, that's it. That's all we've got time for.
Cool.
Thanks very much, everybody. Thanks very much for tuning in, all your great questions. And, make sure you add Frankie as a friend right now on his MySpace profile.
And, there's a lot of good porn sites out there. Ex-hamster, in particular favourite. Enjoy it.